Lavender Hollow sat on the sheltered side of Tasmania's Mount Arthur, a place where clouds snagged on the ridgeline and released showers so gentle they felt like exhaled breath. By mid-November, the 15 hectares of French lavender glimmered lilac from creekbed to paddock fence, and Lily O'Connor swore she could smell the fragrance even in her dreams. This year, though, Lily's nightly thoughts were not only of flower oil yields and spring markets. The University of Tasmania had loaned her a fleet of experimental bee drones, hand-sized quadcopters fitted with electrostatic brushes that trapped pollen, then shivered it loose over the next blossom. The program's aim was to relieve pressure on dwindling native honeybee populations. For Lily, it was also a bit of fun. Visitors loved watching the tiny machines buzz down the rows like orderly dragonflies. Each afternoon, after the drones had returned to their charging hives, Lily's tech-savvy nephew Jasper downloaded the flight logs into a computer model that produced striped diagrams of the day's pollination. Jasper, a graphic design major, printed the diagrams on craft paper, convinced the abstract geometry would sell well on greeting cards. The pictures looked like lattices sketched in crayon, until one wet Monday when Jasper burst into the farm shop brandishing a fresh sheet. "Aunt Lil, look at this one," he blurted, lavender scone crumbs tumbling from his chin. Lily took the page. The lines started out typical, tight ovals over the first terrace, then veered outward in 4 sweeping strokes that intersected in apparently random places. Yet her practical farmer's eye saw intentions beneath the frenzy. The paths, when rotated, made an unmistakable shape, a distorted capital P inside a circle. Pretty, Lily allowed, but the drones must have been blown off course by that midday squall. Not the weather, Jasper insisted. They held altitude and battery perfectly. Something directed them. Lily shrugged. Accidental art happened. She tucked the page under the cash drawer and moved on to filling a tour group's tasting plates with lavender fudge. The next afternoon it happened again. This time the drone's map resembled an angular heart tilting east. Jasper hovered by the bakery counter, while Lily arranged bunches of fresh-cut stems. "I've superimposed both prints on Google Earth," he whispered. "They line up over the park boundary beyond Gould's Lagoon, and today's pattern supplies more points, almost like coordinates." Coordinates to what, exactly? A platypus tea party? She mussed his hair with her gloved hand. "Let the scientists know their code's hiccuping. I've got bigger bees to worry about, namely the real ones grouching because the drone hive stole their prime gum tree perch." Jasper made a theatrical sigh and retreated to the roasting shed. But that evening, Lily's oldest friend, Senior Park Ranger Harriet Koo, dropped by for a cup of lavender chamomile. Harriet's uniform smelled faintly of eucalyptus smoke, and her cheeks were flushed the way they got when something troubled her. "Poachers," she said after 2 sips. "We found a snare line near the Devil's Gullet Trail. Empty now, but fresh. The devils and quolls are vanishing again." Lily remembered the odd drone diagrams and told Harriet, half apologetically, that Jasper suspected they were maps. Harriet leaned forward, her dark ponytail falling over the mug. "Show me." Jasper joined them with printouts and a USB stick. On Lily's aging laptop, Harriet layered the 3 diagrams Lily had written off. Under Jasper's direction, she shrank and pivoted them, pinning waypoints to the park's digital topography. When the lines finally snapped into place, Lily felt the hairs on her forearms rise. The shapes outlined a narrow spur of plateau southwest of Quamby Bluff, an area closed since landslides 2 winters prior, perfect cover for illegal trapping camps. Harriet whistled. And you're telling me your drones drew this without human input? I'm telling you they shouldn't have, Lily said. Jasper zoomed in. These 4 intersections here, if we take the GPS values, they trace a parallelogram about 400 meters long, big enough to hide huts, generators, maybe refrigerated crates. You could helicopter in unseen if you knew the ridge wind patterns. Lily had heard enough. Harriet, take the data. If it helps find whoever's hurting our wildlife, I'll sign whatever statement you need. Harriet copied the files onto her own thumb drive. We'll run aerial surveillance at first light. Until then, keep this quiet. Poachers pay handsomely for sensitive species. They don't scare easy. Jasper's eyes gleamed with the thrill of conspiracy. Lily, though, felt a tremor in her gut. Secrets had a habit of seeding trouble like rabbits on an empty field. Morning poured over the lavender rose in a cape of gold. While tourists jostled for selfies among the blooms, Lily's gaze slid again and again to the northern fence line, beyond which Mount Arthur crouched like a silent adjudicator. At 11:30, Harriet texted, "Drones right. Found smoke remains, pit traps, no culprits. We'll stake out tonight." Relief battled with unease. Whoever had hijacked the farm drones still walked free. As Lily rolled a tray of lavender peach muffins into the cafe display, Rowan Black strode in, whistling. Owner of the neighbouring apiary, Rowan boasted the rugged charm of a backcountry novelist, bronzed jaw, perpetual stubble, eyes merry to match his laugh. Villagers adored him. Lily tolerated him. He treated business like a chessboard and people like pieces. "Mornin', Lil," he said, doffing his waxed cotton hat. "Came to swap a jar of my leatherwood for your culinary." He dangled a honey pot. She passed him a muffin. "Fair trade." Rowan noticed the unused drone hive blinking on its post outside. "Grounded the metal bees?" "Minor software glitch." Lily kept her voice neutral. Rowan winked. "Tech's grand till it ain't. Nothing beats nature's own pilots." He sauntered off, but Lily saw Jasper watching from the porch, frowning. "Aunt Lil," he said quietly. "Rowan asked last week to examine the drone's calibration. Said he wanted to repurpose some code. You think he could have—" "Rowan's cocky, not criminal," Lily cut in, though her conviction felt thin. Still, suspicion alone wouldn't net a poacher. She told Jasper to restart the drones after lunch, but to monitor live telemetry on his tablet. If any strange detours appeared, they would trace them in real time. At 1 p.m, the drones lifted like a squadron of hummingbirds glittering in the midday sun. Jasper reclined beneath a shade sail, stylus poised. Tourists pointed cameras, toddlers squealed. Lily resumed guiding a walking tour, explaining how essential oils were distilled, but half her sentences floated away on the breeze as she tracked the drone's progress over the fields. Rowan reappeared near the still. He leaned on the timber railing, professing admiration for the technology. His shoulder brushed the base station modem, barely noticeable. But Lily noticed. The next instant, Jasper shouted, "They're turning north! Again!" On the tablet, Lavender Row grids shrank while the drones cut across open pasture toward the shadowed bush. One unit stalled overhead as if indecisive. The rest formed a chevron and accelerated. "Kill the mission," Lily called. Jasper mashed the abort button. Nothing. The drones sailed on. Rowan retreated, muttering something about needing to check hives. He jogged off the property road. "Follow him," Lily hissed. Jasper hurried after their neighbour, phone recording. Lily sprinted to her ute, tires spinning gravel as she reached the back paddock gate. Ahead, the drones dipped below the tree line, their faint buzz swallowed by cicada chorus. Lily's heart hammered. She gunned the engine onto an old logging track that paralleled the drone's heading. Branches slapped the windscreen, scenting the cab with peppermint gum. 10 minutes later, she emerged at a clearing whose centre featured a corrugated iron shed, Rowan's outpost for his forest hives. The shed door stood ajar. Lily killed the engine and slipped out, scanning for movement. Inside, Jasper's voice echoed from a speaker. "Rowan, man, what are you doing?" The feed came from Jasper's phone, evidently flung onto a bench. Rowan's voice followed, low but clear. "Sorry, mate, dependencies. Wish you hadn't tailed me." A metallic scrape. Something heavy clanged shut. Lily's pulse chilled. She crept to a side window. Rowan knelt beside a crate labelled fertilizer, prying open a hidden compartment to reveal radio equipment, signal boosters, a laptop streaming live GPS plots identical to Jasper's. He tapped at keys, guiding the drones deeper into the range. "Beautiful," he murmured. "Keep singing, little bees." Lily stepped backward, twig cracking beneath her boot. Rowan's head jerked up. He grabbed a walkie-talkie. "Charlie, we've got company." Lily bolted for the ute, but heard an engine flare downhill. A dirt bike burst into view, rider masked, racing toward her. Instinct pressed her flat behind a fallen log. The bike overshot, skidded, and returned, the rider scanning. Lily dialed Harriet. "Rowan Black is controlling my drones. He has accomplices. Jasper might be trapped." Harriet's reply rasped through static. "On my way. Keep safe." The bike peeled off. Lily dashed to the shed again, retrieved Jasper's phone, and found him locked inside a galvanized pantry. His knuckles thumped the door. "Jas, it's me." She slid a bolt free. He stumbled out, cheeks streaked with sweat, but alive. "He's shipping animals," Jasper panted. "Saw coolers stamped with Hong Kong quarantine codes." Lily's stomach lurched. "We have to stall him till Harriet arrives." They peeked around the corner. Rowan threw 3 rugged iceboxes into his ute, antennas collapsed, laptop closed. He revved, tires flinging stones, and roared down the track, the same direction the drones had gone. "Get in," Lily told Jasper. They pursued, but Rowan's truck kicked up a blinding plume. He veered through a gate marked Park Service Research, authorized entry only. Lily braked at the barrier. Driving beyond without a permit risked fines, but Poachers didn't worry about paperwork. She and Jasper set off on foot, following tire grooves into the woodland. Wattlebirds shrieked overhead. Twice Jasper stumbled. Lily pulled him up. After 15 minutes, the track ended at a half-collapsed rock shelf. Rowan's vehicle idled beside a camouflaged canvas shelter. Beyond it, 3 drones hovered like sentries. Rowan and the dirt bike rider, Charlie, hauled the coolers toward a waiting helicopter, rotors idling. Its side bore the logo of an adventure tour company that had ceased operating last year. Fraudulent, of course. Lily crouched behind a mess of ferns, phoning Harriet again. No signal. The chopper's radio chatter jammed reception. She spotted the drone remote hanging from Rowan's belt. If she could disrupt their getaway, even minutes could let rangers close in. "Distraction," she whispered to Jasper. "Remember the Lavender Festival stunt?" Jasper grinned despite fear. He produced a pocket laser pointer, the kind they use to deter possums, and adjusted the beam. Rowan shouted to the pilot. Jasper flicked the laser across the drone sensors. 2 units beeped, their positional LEDs blinking as they lost orientation. They drifted sideways, clipping the helicopter's tail rotor. The pilot cursed, throttling down. Rowan spun, scanning the trees. Lily seized a fallen branch, snapped it, and hurled a segment toward the clearing. The rustle drew Rowan's gaze. He advanced, pistol visible at his hip. So much for cozy neighbor. In that tense moment, twin ranger vehicles burst onto the ridge. Harriet stood atop the lead bullbar, megaphone raised. "Tasmania Parks and Wildlife, hands where we can see them." Charlie dropped his crate and bolted into scrub, only to be rugby tackled by a ranger with surprising speed. Rowan froze. The pistol slid from his grip. The helicopter attempted liftoff, but one compromised drone clanged again into the tail. With a spray of fiberglass shards, the pilot cut power and surrendered. Lily's knees softened. Jasper hugged her, trembling with leftover adrenaline. Harriet jogged over, eyes fierce. "You two are more trouble than cane toads." She hugged them all the same. The following week, Lavender Hollow's cafe filled with locals craving updates almost as much as lavender scones. Over steaming cups, Harriet revealed details. Rowan had partnered with an offshore exotic pet syndicate. He'd hacked the university drone software, through code glimpsed during his helpful calibration visit, and used Lily's daily flight data to transmit rendezvous coordinates across Parkland without digital messages that authorities could intercept. Anyone analyzing the logs would see random pollination sweeps, harmless agronomy. "Too clever by half," Harriet said. But he forgot how nosy country people can be. Jasper basked in the praise. The university, grateful their technology had inadvertently exposed criminal activity, replaced Lily's compromised fleet with upgraded encryption-tight models. That afternoon, Lily wandered the lavender rows alone. The sky mirrored the blooms, all lilac hues fading to dove grey at the horizon. Real bees threaded among the flossy spikes, sensible, loyal. She listened to their thrum, steady as tides, and felt peace return. Footsteps rustled behind her. Harriet, sweater sleeves rolled, offered a paper bag. "Lavender shortbread, baked extra." Lily smiled. "Stay for tea." They sat beneath the pergola where mauve blossoms clung to climbing wisteria. The news on Harriet's tablet played softly. Rowan Black and 2 accomplices charged with illegal wildlife trafficking, helicopter seized, bail denied. Lily exhaled. Justice smelled even sweeter than her farm's signature perfume. "You know," Harriet mused, "those drone diagrams would make smashing jigsaw puzzles, crime-solving souvenirs." "Only if they come with disclaimers," Lily laughed. "No hidden camps included." They clinked china and watched sunset spill over carpets of lavender, each bloom a tiny lantern holding its own story. The farm, like the land, remained resilient, healing after storms, fragrant despite peril, ready to bloom anew.